If you're thinking about getting into model railroading or you're already an addict, boy, do we have a project for you. In this episode, we get out the chop saw and try not to lose an appendage, starting right now. Welcome to It's My Railroad, the how-to show for regular people. On this show, we talk about model railroading the regular guy kind of way. It's a lot of fun, hanging out with the community, lots of experiences being shared, learning a ton. So if you are into that sort of thing, why not just push that subscribe button right now? And then don't forget to push that little bell icon so you can catch future videos. Hey, just a quick reminder, our 5K giveaway raffle is well underway. As soon as we hit 5,000 subscribers, someone is going to win some gift certificates. The folks over at Midwest Model Railroad have hooked us up with 3 gift certificates that you can win if we pull your name out of a hat for the raffle. The details for the contest down in the description. Why don't you go there, check it out, enter, and maybe you'll win. All right, rail fans, let's get into this. If you recall, last week we got the shelf brackets mounted into the studs in the hobby room in anticipation of setting our second deck up there. Well, guess what? Today, we're gonna get out the old chop saw, we're gonna get out some tools, and we're gonna get out some wood, and we are gonna build the framework that the second deck is actually gonna be built on top of. So there's more to say on that, and I don't wanna do it in here. Let's just get into the hobby room right now. Hey, welcome back to the hobby room, to the Brown Smith Railroad, and to our second deck expansion well underway. As you remember, last time we put in all the shelf brackets, told you a little bit about the kind of stuff we're doing here and why we're making this expansion. If you missed that episode, just click the card above my head, link in the description, you can go to watch it now. But anyway, today what I'd like to do is make the pieces for this layout. So to do that, let me just bring you in a little bit closer and I'll tell you how we're gonna get started. So we're gonna start with this corner because it's like the key piece of a puzzle. You ever done a jigsaw puzzle? First piece you do is always the corners. Well, we're gonna start here. Not only that, as I said, that corner back there is some mysterious angle. I don't know. And I think it changes from time to time too. It's like a paranormal house, but we'll get into that on another show. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and get this piece cut. Now keep in mind, I may have to move someday. I probably will, as a matter of fact. So I need to make this thing bolt togetherable and unboltable into modules. And as we move forward, we'll get into more details about that. But I want to make this first piece in such a way that it'll hang off these brackets and give me enough piece that I can get out of this room if I need to, but still have a pretty substantial piece. So I think what we'll do is measure from the wall to this bracket and see what we have. So I get down here, it looks like, well, that's pretty close to 4 feet. I think for round numbers and the way I work, we're gonna call it 4 feet. We're going to have a piece here I'll show you later that's kind of a suspension piece that's going to be missing a bracket because of the hobby table. And I'll show you how we're going to put that in later. But I know I can get 4 feet done here. Going over to this side, the top one is 3 feet. We'll measure that out and, well, 3 feet kind of puts it right here. But I'm afraid if we go 4 feet by 4 feet, and with the height of it, it's gonna be hard to get it out of here someday. So I'll tell you what, we'll go 4 feet by 3 feet, knowing though that this is gonna be 28 inches deep. This is gonna be 24 inches deep. The reason I'm doing that is over there at the Switch Junction side and over at the Brownsville side, I wanna have a 28-inch deep section to put a nice big fat turn in for some of these trains, and some of these tight turns I have up here on the rest of the layout. So what we'll do now is I'm going to take you out into the garage. Again, I'll show you a couple times how I cut, glue, screw. This is stuff you guys have done before, I'm sure. But to be thorough, I'm going to show you. So why don't we head out into the garage right now. All right, we're back in the garage and it's hot again, so I have my garage door open. So hopefully we won't have a Harley or something drive by and disturb what we're doing. So here's what I want to do. I know that you guys pretty much know how to cut a piece of wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have you watch me measure these and cut these and use my chop saw. And there's really no big secret to it, especially the regular guy way. And then we'll spend just a little bit of time putting it together here on the floor of the garage, which is actually the only flat surface on the entire property. Put it together there, and then we're going to go set it up on the brackets in the hobby room and see how it fits. So first thing, we know we need a piece that's 48 inches long. Now, even though we're using the chop saw, I still like to put the square up there just to be double sure, because what if my chop saw is not at a 90-degree angle or something? It just helps make that little extra bit to help keep from screwing it up. Let's just put that right there and get it in place. Line up the saw and cut it right there. Hold your ears. And voila, we have the first piece cut for the new bench work. I'm going to put that aside. And we also know we're going to put that second piece up there. That's going to be 3 feet minus the width of this piece of wood, which is supposed to be 1 inch, but how accurate is that? This wood is only 3/4 of an inch. 3/4. I don't know if you can see that, but it's 3/4. So we need to subtract 3/4 of an inch from 36 inches because this is going to sit here on that 4-foot piece. So we go 3 feet minus 3/4, 35 1/4. Bring our friend the square back out. Make the mark. And cut that one. All right. There's 2 pieces. Now we'll cut that piece on the left that comes off this way. And again, we've got the same thing. We've got a piece behind it and the piece in front of it that are both 3/4 inch thick. So we'll take 1.5 inches off of 2 feet, and that's what we're gonna get. I will take that 2 and I'll take that off of this side. So I'm going out 2 feet minus 1.5 inches is 22.5. I just need to keep in mind that I took my measurement from that side over there, so I have to make sure my saw blade is on this side of my mark, otherwise I'll end up cutting it too short. And line it up. Boom, we got one of those now. So I'll go ahead and just sort of cut all the other pieces out we're going to use for this corner piece, and then let's get back together and put it together on the floor. Okay, so we've got the pieces cut out, and we've got it laid down here on the ground. And you can see this is the 4-foot piece I cut, but you see this one is 3/4 of an inch shorter than that one, and yet it's still a 4-foot length. This is because of this piece of wood here being 3/4, and I wanted to button it up, and we kind of did that throughout. So I guess what we'll do right now, this is kind of a key point back here. This is the main corner, and everything else kind of comes from that. So what we'll do is zoom in a little closer maybe, and my idea is to get some glue on there, clamp it, drill 2 holes, and then set 2 drywall screws in there to hold it together. Ultimately, the glue is what's going to hold this together, not the screws. But by screwing it as we go, we don't have to wait around for a bunch of junk to happen. So let's just get the camera in a little bit closer and start working on this corner. All right, to get going, there's some tools and stuff we're going to be using here. First of all, I went up to Lowe's and got this Irwin corner clamp, which is really cool for clamping something into a right angle, like exact right angle. So when you glue it and screw it together, it is perfect. So we're going to load that on there. But first, we'll take some of this Elmer's Carpenter's Wood Glue Max. This is the stuff, like I said, that's going to do all the work. So we'll put a little bit of glue on there, clamp this together, and then what I like to do is I like to go ahead and drill me a hole first where I want the screws to go. because, I don't know, for some reason when I set screws in wood, the wood likes to split. And this way, we get most of the wood out of the way and the screw just sort of bites its way in. And then I'll, of course, use my screw tip here to screw the drywall screws in. And basically, I've just got these deck screws there, 2 inches long. They're a number 8. I eyeballed it. I think I like it. We're going to use it. So there you go. So first things first, let's get a wee bit of glue on here. Like that. And get it close to being correctamundo, and then we'll take our clamp and clamp this into a right angle. I'm adjusting a little bit as I go to make sure this edge over here that you can't see is nice and flush. There. Now with that on there, that's a right angle and it's not going to go anywhere. I'll get my drill out and pop 2 holes in here. Like that. Switch out. Some guys will have 2 drills, one with a tip and one with a drill bit. I'm not that sophisticated over here. Alright, there it is from that angle, and that sucker is ready to go now. So what I'll do, because you didn't get to see a lot of what was going on this side, I'll go to the other corner where the camera can pick it up. And maybe you'll get just a little bit of a better idea of how this is going. Alright, so I went ahead and brought you in for like the ultra close-up here. And first thing we do is we get a little bit of glue right here. Like that. And then get the old clamp on there. Get that one on there straight. And that one. Move out just a little bit. There. Perfectly straight. If you can see that, voila. Now, get the drill and drill our pilot holes. Bob's your uncle. That's about as square as going to get. So I'll put the camera back up in the air and I'm going to go through and just screw the rest of this together. You guys can watch me, or you can fast forward to the next part. Alright, back from the garage with our freshly made piece of bench work. We'll try to get up here without beating the junk out of my hobby room. It sits in there just like that. Well, there's one problem with this, and that is these shelf brackets are 16 inches deep, and this is 24 inches deep. Over there it's 28 inches deep. That's not going to work, right? So I have a solution I used upstairs, and that is we're going to take some pieces of wood and make like extensions for these brackets. One of them will go here. One of them will go here. and then one back in the back here to support all of that. So what we'll do now is we'll leave this in place. Let's take a measurement and go build this little suspension piece I got back on this side. All right, first of all, I don't want any cracks about my hobby table, okay? Obviously, I'm a man in transition right now, so it's kind of a bomb in the hobby room. Actually, it's always a bomb in the hobby room, so I'm without excuse. Anyway, I've got that corner piece set kind of where I want it. Let's just go ahead and get us a length for about how far this next piece should go. And it looks to me like about 64 inches is going to get it. That's kind of a nice round number as far as getting all the studs in place. So I'll tell you what, let's go out to the garage and cut another one. All right, so for this longer piece that we need to reinforce to make this span, we know it's 64 inches, so I need to cut basically 4 pieces 64 inches long. But then the pieces the cross pieces, if you'll recall, it's 2 feet deep, so we had to subtract the wood at both sides from the first one, so that's 1.5 inches. Well, we need to subtract another 1.5 inches for the reinforcement we're going to have in the middle. So when we get to that part, we're going to take 3 inches off instead of 1.5 inches. But for right now, let's just go through and cut 4 of these. Easy enough. We just get the old tape measure out here and run it along. Mark 64. Make sure it's all squared up. And cut it. All right, there you go, 64 inches. I'm gonna make 3 more of these and then we'll take a look at making the smaller ones. Okay, since this is like a longer span, I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce it a little bit tighter than I was on the others. 64, by the way, makes it nice to put at every 16 inches on center to put these supports. So if we do the math, that means I need 5 pieces that are 24 inches minus 3 inches. So doing the math in my little pea brain, that's 21 inches. So I'm gonna make 5 of these that are 21 inches, the same way we make all the others. There, just like that. I'm gonna make 4 more and then let's put this thing together. All right, so all the pieces are cut out and as you can see, this is the configuration we're gonna put together. This right here is still 2 feet wide, even though we're double siding it there by making these shorter, like we said. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna build this box first, put these at 16 on center, like we said. Then I'm gonna put these outer pieces on, and then you know, when that's done, we'll just go in and put it on the layout. I'm gonna use the same technique I used before, so rather than boring you guys with that, let me get that done and then we'll move on to whatever's next. All right, so we're back from the garage. While I was out there, I took the liberty of cutting a couple of those spacers. I'm gonna replace this short one over here with a longer one, a little closer to what we're actually gonna have in here. Let me grab the piece we made. Tell you what, when do we get our exciting DCC action out of the way? There we go. All right, so here we go. Take this, lay it in there, get all the crap out of the way. And, well, it's pretty close. It looks like I screwed up a measurement somewhere, and over there it's hanging off too far. Let me show you that. Over there it's hanging off of that too far. Don't understand what I did there. Hopefully I can still make all that work. Well, what I want to do though is I want to clamp this together, first of all, to make it one solid piece, kind of the way it's going to sit. So I've got these clamps. right here, these kind of C-clamp deals right here. What we'll do is just come back over here and clamp these together the way we'd want them to sit in an ideal world. There's that one. And there's that one. All right, so for now, we're saying that's all good. Slide that back against the wall. And Bob continues to be your uncle. So we'll let that sit for a minute, see how that grows on us. But what I'd like to do is move over to this side so we can complete that whole side over there, see what that looks like. So next on the agenda then is this end piece that ultimately have the radius on it and have the helix on top of that. So if I get me a little measurement here, actually let's go the other way so I can kind of try to match the existing up top. We seem to have 50 inches, 50 inches. So I will go out and make one of those. Now keep in mind, it's going to be 28 inches deep here and have a radius here in the plywood. So what I'll do is I'll go make it like that. Then when we bring it back in, we'll spend just a minute talking about how I framed it and why. So let me tell you what I did here. I know I'm gonna have a 28-inch radius turn here because this is 28 inches deep. So just to sort of get the framework in place, I know that this 14 inches and this 14 inches is going to be like divided into like a pie shape, right? So I should be able to, when I cut the plywood, it cuts around here like this and ends there. That should be the arc. Once I cut that, I'm gonna figure out how to support it under there. I don't really know. I'm no good at math, and carpentry is not really my strong suit, but that's my thought. So I'm doing that at this end and at the other end. So I'll tell you what, you've kind of seen how we do this. Let me go through and make the last two pieces, install them, and then we'll take one final look at it before we really get crazy. Well, we've got all the pieces cut, they're glued together, they're screwed together, they're sitting on their shelf brackets, clamped together temporarily. Gotta tell you, pretty happy so far with how it's plumb, how it's square, how it's level. Way better than the bench work I did for the upper deck. So that's pretty cool. We still need to put the shelf bracket extensions on, put the backdrop in, bolt the plywood down, bolt it all together. I say bolt, we're gonna screw it together. But anyway, and then we're gonna get to work over here on the controversial switch junction helix complex, see what we can get done there. I figure that's gonna be the most difficult part of the build, so I kind of want to get that out of the way so the rest is smooth sailing. Although for a regular guy, it's never smooth sailing. For instance, here's an example. My spidey sense tells me something is not right in Denmark and that my eyes may be too big for my stomach. When I look at the layout, I just don't think I can get everything done that I have on the track plan that I want to get done. It just looks like it's going to be too congested. It kind of looks smaller here than it does on the screen. I don't know what that's about. That's one of the reasons I don't fully design anything. Normally, in any Rail 6, I just kind of get an idea. So here's what I'm going to do. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go through, reevaluate the track plan, make sure I'm still comfortable with it. If I make some changes, we'll look at that first thing next time, and then we'll get to work on getting this ready to put some track on it. So other than that, I say we just head back into the studio. And we're back in the studio. Yeah, baby. Use the chop saw. Still have all my digits. Didn't bleed once. Oh, it's so unusual, but it happens. Hey, this is the kind of stuff we do here on It's My Railroad Sidetrack and our new talk show, Track Smack. So if you're into that kind of thing again, why don't you just subscribe? Don't forget to enter into the 5K giveaway raffle, and through the course of the week, hang out with me on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, my name is Steve Brown. Rail on, my friends.